While India battles its second wave of COVID-19, life is slowly returning to normal in Europe. EU countries are planning to relax COVID-19 travel restrictions for international visitors. It could reopen doors to tourists who are fully vaccinated with an EU-approved jab. The announcement is driving the region's equity markets higher as investors expect a boost in demand for travel, hospitality and other sectors. On Thursday, Germany's DAX gained more than 1%, while the CAC in Paris rose 0.8%. Mehmet Solmaz reports on the companies hoping to cash in on tourist arrivals.
Angling for selfies with Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, the Mona Lisa. For the first time in 6 months, museums in France have reopened to the public.
I'm full of emotion. We need beauty, and we are really so lucky in Paris. Usually, I would come to the museum in the evening after work and read in one of the halls.
In France, restaurant terraces and non-essential retail outlets are now allowed to serve customers after the third lockdown in little more than a year.
I feel very good to be having a nice cup of coffee with a friend who I haven't seen for a long time, and to once again enjoy the Paris morning with a nice coffee.
The European Union has taken a step towards relaxing tourism travel for visitors from outside the bloc.
EU ambassadors agreed to update the approach to travel from outside the European Union. The Council will now recommend that Member States ease some of the current restrictions, in particular for those vaccinated with a new authorized vaccine. The Council should also soon expand the list of non-EU countries with a good epidemiological situation from where travel is permitted based on the new criteria agreed today.
Like France, Austria has also opened hotels and restaurants after a 6-month lockdown. In Italy, the hospitality sector is ready to welcome visitors. Tourism accounts for about 13% of Italy's economy.
We know it will be some time until tourists return, but we hope that we can start again. We can already see tourists during the weekend, but during the week, it's sad to say that it's very quiet.
The travel industry has been devastated by COVID-19, but with vaccines proving effective in fighting the pandemic, European officials are cautiously hopeful that the worst days are now behind us. Mehmet Solmaz, TRT World.
Bruno Verstraete is a partner and chief economist at Lakefield Partners AG. He joins me now from Zurich. Welcome to the show. Now, before we get into these measures, let's just take a quick recap. How has the pandemic affected Europe's travel and tourism, especially so far?
Yes, good evening. Well, I think it has had a major impact, and an impact one should definitely not underestimate, especially on the Mediterranean countries. I think the impact was very devastating. Just to give a few numbers, Spain had 83.5 million tourists in 2019 before COVID took place. The impact on the GDP is around 12.3%, and it's clear that the contribution of the corona crisis was around 3 percentage points lower on GDP because of tourism not being active. So it's clear that these countries are actually begging for the borders to be reopened in a first phase amongst European countries, which are their most important tourists, and then in a second phase, the intercontinental tourists, which are also very relevant, but which might come a bit later because of fear that there will be another lockdown or something alike.
Yes, the devastation has been quite widespread. I mean, looking at some of these estimates, France, their tourist arrivals fell by 2/3. In Spain, the industry took a $93 billion hit, $85 billion hit in Italy. Do you think these steps are enough to stem that hemorrhaging?
Well, it's going to be phased in. I mean, it's clear that not the entire industry will be pre-COVID levels as of this summer. It's going to take time. We will have to readjust to normalization. We came to a point where we're not fully sure yet. Clearly, after the second vaccination, most people will feel very comfortable. In the first phase, the elderly people that will start to move, but then in the second stage, the younger people. So it will be a staged comeback. I don't see it going back to pre-COVID levels as of this summer. I can hardly believe that. It will take time, and it will still be aligned with the measures, which might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable still as a tourist, reminding you of that the fact that Corona is still around.
Bruno Verstraete there from Zurich. Thank you very much for your insights.